Safidi, great player, always very generous with his time for others. Absolutely awesome to get your photo standing beside him. A great guy. Good on you, Joe. Kira in Lismore, first ever NRL crush as a teenager. Rod Wishart, Illawarra Steelers and New South Wales winger. My now man crush, Brian To'o. I may have a thing for wingers, but I feel like these two play a similar style. Kira, thank you for your text from beautiful Lismore. And Gnome Wombat, the late Steve Rogers, he says. Player pronunciation names. People think they know better than the actual players. I'll stick with what we've got, but thank you anyway for your text, Brett from Brisbane. We get those from directly the players, so I'll believe them rather than anyone else. West Tigers and Gold Coast, we're heading there in 50 seconds' time. Louis, we've mentioned the importance of this game for both clubs. Who do you like at Leichhardt?
I'm going to go Gold Coast, just to make it interesting at the end of the year.
Okay. You want that to be a wooden spoon off, don't you, around 27?
I think it's going to be.
Okay, what about you, Jonty?
I'm going for the West Tigers, but if the Titans bring their game, they will be hard to stop.
Yeah, I think I agree with Michael Carianis' earlier assessment. This could be a lot of points scored, but I'll take the Tigers at Leichhardt. All right, boys, we'll be back at half-time to preview our game between Newcastle and the New Zealand Warriors. Thank you to our producer, Ralph Tucker, and Dennis Carnahan and Renell in the studio. But it is time to get to the footy on this stunning day here in Newcastle and also at Leichhardt. Beautiful sunny skies. Let's get there. Brett Sprigg, a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, the day that rugby league dreams are made of, Maury. A sunny day here at Leichhardt Oval. The Wayne Pearce Hill is packed with a sea of orange and black and plenty of Balmain gold as well. And while it's a dream day, hasn't necessarily been the dream season for Benji Marshall and the West Tigers, because the fact is they, along with their opponents today, the Gold Coast Titans, will be out to avoid the wooden spoon. And of course, in the Tigers' case, that would be 4 in a row. So I think the faithful come here today with a degree of expectation. They are favoured to beat the Gold Coast, but certainly both sides see this as a winnable opportunity. And worth pointing out that they'll meet again in round 27 at Robina, so there will be a return bout. But I'm sure the Tigers would love to push their way up to as high as 12th or 11th on that NRL ladder to get as far away from bottom as possible. Kick-off here is just moments away. Your texts are always welcome. 0467920222. Alongside me is a man who called Leichhardt Oval home for his first game, his last game, and 23 games all up. Dean Hallertau, nice to see you again, Shop.
Nice to see you again, Spriggy. Great to be here once more at the 8th run of the world, as it was tagged once by Robbie Farah. Looking forward to this game. As you say, fair bit riding on this game for both teams in terms of what the rest of the year looks like and how happy they might be or sad they might be in September.
Absolutely. Looking for a 7th win of the year. Of course, the Gold Coast Titans are 4 and 12, currently sitting in that provisional wooden spoon position in 17th. What about West Tigers? Tristan Hope starting for Appy Croycia. What would be the reasoning behind that, do you reckon?
Maybe Appy might be carrying some injuries. Obviously, he's an older player and he's been around for a while, and he gets through a mountain of work when he does play. So maybe it's to give the old guy a little bit of a softer entrance into the game. And Tristan Hope's young, and he'll get through some pretty tough defence early on. And that's the only reason I can think of. He's their leader, Appy Croycia. He provides so much at a dummy half. You want to have him on the field as much as possible, but it might be a bit of self-preservation in mind.
The other thing we're seeing for the West Tigers, this is it's been 3 or 4 weeks now of that Jerome Luai-Latu-Whanu combination. How do you think that's been going, I suppose, overall, and the fact that they do get more of a chance to tune it up?
Yeah, I think we're seeing bits and pieces from them together. There's a lot similar in their games, so they're both really good runners, but Latu-Whanu's got a bit more of a structure kind of feel about him, like he can go to a structure and play really smart 7 kind of football. But Jerome, we know, is an ad-lib guy. You'd think with the experience difference that Jerome's out there calling the shots quite a bit, but I think Latu at some point will take that over and let Jerome do what Jerome does best, and that play that ad-lib footy, come up with some trick plays here and there. And I think it's still developing, but there's glimpses of what it could be.
Adam Dewey moves to lock today. Taylor May plays his first game as a West Tiger, joining older brother Terrell May, of course, who takes his usual position in the front row. For the Gold Coast Titans, Sam Verrills plays his 50th game, his 50th club game for the Gold Coast Titans. And I guess the consensus around them, Dean, is, as MC mentioned, that they are a team underperforming, probably below where they probably should be, given their roster has some reasonable names in it.
There's some very reasonable names in it, and it's probably been a head scratcher for a few seasons with the Titans. You look through and see a number of rep players and some really high quality young talent. I love their outside backs. There's some real speed and skill out wide and some power as well. And yeah, it's a head scratcher as to why they don't have more success, and a bit to go on with the club, I guess.
Here come the Titans. Fullback AJ Brimson, wingers Jalen de Groot and Philip Sami, centres Brian Kelly and Jojo Fafita. 5'8", in his 311th game, Kieran Foran. Halfback Jaden Campbell. Lock forward and captain Tino Fa'asuamala-Awi. Second rowers Chris Randall and Bo Furmore. Props Moiki Fodawaker and Jamin Jolliffe. Hooker Sam Barrels. Bench Regan Campbell. Get up the switcheroo, the late one to the bench. Alfana Camperera. David Fafita and Cleese Haas. Isaac Fa'asuamala-Awi is the 18th man for Des Hasler's Gold Coast Titans, who take their position in the northern half here of Leichhardt Oval. It is shockers. That Wayne Pearce Hill, they're shoulder to shoulder. The flags are waving. It is a fantastic day. Few clouds overhead. And here come the West Tigers. Fullback Sunia Taruva. Wingers Charlie Staines and Jarrell Skelton. Setters Taylor May and Starford Tower. 5'8" co-captain Jerome Luai. Halfback Latu Fino. Lock Adam Dewey. Back rowers Tony Suka and Jack Bird. Props Terrell May and Alex Twal. Abdi Croissau is hooker. The bench Alex Seafarth. Abdi Croissau is on the bench, I should say, and co-captain. Bench is Croissau, Seafarth, Tioni Finu and Fanua Bole. And Christian Mapalangi is the 18th man for Benji Marshall, coaching the West Tigers, currently sitting in 14, 6 wins, 11 losses. Our referee is Belinda Sharp. Ashley Klein in the bunker. Our touch officials Damien Brady and Chris Sutton. Michael Karanis on the touchline for us. What's it like down there, MC?
Yeah, great conditions, but a strong breeze behind the back of the West Tigers. Quite significant to start this game.
So this is just their second game at Leichhardt this year. They'll play one more game in a few weeks' time. So the second of three games. It's their 100th game overall here at Leichhardt. So a milestone for the joint venture. Adam Dewey kicks off. We're underway. And the Gold Coast Titans will have first use here at the 8th wonder. There's Jolliffe. Hits up first there. Off that man Alex Twal. And he'll play a 12 out from that northern line. It is just chockers here. Fantastic atmosphere on this sunny Sunday afternoon in Sydney's inner west. Fa'asuamala-Awi carried back there by 3 West Tigers. He'll play at 22 out from his own line or then. Foran back on the inside now to Bo Furmore. Hits the deck. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. As fans still take their seats or their place on the hill. Here's Mweki Fodawaker pressing up through centre field there. He's brought to the turf there by Tristan Hope and also Alex Twal. Play at 40 out centre field from dummy half Verrills across here to the right-hand side. Another strong run this time for the Titans over halfway through their fullback and AJ Brimson. Come to the right-hand side. Last play kick from Jaden Campbell. Travels down here towards Sunia Taruva and he's swarmed on there by 3 or 4 Gold Coast defenders. 20 out centre field. First set of the game here for the West Tigers coming up. As it may have been taken high and the fans are protesting that, but West Tigers roll on here. It's with Charlie Staines. Play at 25 out from that southern line. West Tigers pressing up through centre field. There is the early carry from Jarrell Skelton. Scored last week against the Warriors. Also been obtained to a picky late in that game as well. Here's Taylor May's first grade carry for quite some time. 40 out, 20 in from the western side. Hope dummy half. Open side right, he shifts it towards Tony Suka. And he'll play on the halfway here for West Tigers. This will be last play to complete their first set of the game. No score here in the early stages at Leichhardt Oval. Jerome Luai's kick goes up in the air. Holds up in the breeze somewhat. AJ Brimson takes the catch cleanly. And he's met solidly there by Terrell May and also Tristan Hope will play at 30 out, 20 in from the western side.
Yeah, well, as expected to start, both teams really conservative in their sets and getting through to the kick, so completion is really good. Just one thing, watching Latu Fino, I should say, he tackled Bo Furmore in the first set. He's been clutching at his left wrist and sort of shaking it about ever since, so one to keep an eye on for the Tigers.
Michael Karanis on the touchline shortly. Gold Coast roll on here. Verrills exploded it on the half. Shares it with Jaden Campbell and now tackled on that edge for the Titans is Chris Randall. 40 out from the West Tigers line. Verrills swings it away quickly here. Mweki Fodawaker offloads back to Brimson. Shares it out of 4 and they shift to the left-hand side as it's now with Brian Kelly. Steps on one opponent there. He's dragged down there one-on-one by Starford Tower. 25 out, 8 in from the eastern side. Kick from dummy half from Kieran Foran. Up it goes. Came backwards off Tristan Hope. It's going to be 6 ball now for the Gold Coast Titans. No Furmore collected there by Stafford Toa. He'll play at 12 out, 20 in from that eastern side. Bright sunshine here at Leichhardt. No score so far. Tigers Titans on ABC Sport. There's a strong gain there from Jamin Jolliffe. He's 3 metres out now from that southern line. Left-hand side of the post. Ferrells shifts it left-hand side. Out to Brimson. On again here. Brian Kelly steps in field. And he's tackled there by a couple of those Tigers defenders. Jack Bird all over him. Dummy half swung back now here towards AJ Brimson. Will show and go. Now to the right for Kieran Foran. Campbell goes very wide here for Jalen de Groot, who goes over in the corner. It was the shift left and then back to the right. And the Gold Coast Titans hit pay dirt. They score the first try of the game through Jalen de Groot after only 3.5 minutes. It's Gold Coast Titans 4, West Tigers 0. Titans kick to come.
Yeah, well, the attacking kick that got turned over from Kieran Foran, he had a bit of pressure on him coming out from dummy half to put that kick up, but Tristan Hope has a play at it, knocks it forward, so the Titans get 6 again attacking the Tigers line, and it didn't take them long. They go for a full field shift from their left to their right, and it was Jaden Campbell, the 6, with a really nice dig into the line, throws the ball over the top. There's a few boos from the crowd claiming maybe a 4 pass, but it was a peach of a ball there. Sorry, number 7 he's wearing. Goes out to Jalen de Groot. Perfect on the money, on the chest. He gets the first 4-pointer.
Jalen de Groot's first try of the year in his 10th game. Robert Carrios on the touchline.
Yeah, great start here from the Gold Coast Titans, and you can see the way they're going to play out. A lot of ad-lib football, a lot of second phase already to try and ruffle this West Tigers defensive outfit. Great start from your way side.
Kick from Jaden Campbell will be 25 metres out, metre in from the western side. Very, very close to Michael Carrick. MC's the other side. He's over there now. And this kick from Campbell misses. So it remains Gold Coast Titans 4, West Tigers 0 here on ABC Sports. Stuart from Aspley, thank you for your text. Andrew in Perth just fired up the smoker, hoping West can smoke the Gold Coast today. Good on you, Andrew. Mary and Newey, me and hubby off to watch the Knights play. Perfect day for a go. The Knights love the show. Good on you, Mary. And yes, we'll head back to Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs for Newcastle, New Zealand Warriors to close round. Up that left-hand side, and Brimson dragged down 20 in from the eastern side on halfway. Fodawaker back to Jolliffe. He's tackled by Tony Suker, and also in there Terrell May. Play 35 out here from that southern line. Fed on here to Fodawaker. Going to about 7 metres now for the Gold Coast Titans. 25 out. Looking right, but going back to the left now. Verrills to Jolliffe. Pass went behind Kieran Foran. On the bounce, it sits up on its point for AJ Brimson. Tackled one-on-one there by Jack Bird. 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Verrills now back to Philip Sami, and he's 11 out from that southern line. Last play, Gold Coast Titans 4-0 their lead. Verrills tackled by the marker there in Latu Fainu. It's come loose here back to the Gold Coast Titans, so it's 6 more again. So more repeat ball here for the Gold Coast Titans as the West Tigers defence had played at that one, so it's played now to Tino Fa'asuamala Awi. Straightens his run toward the uprights, and he's stopped 5 metres shy. The Gold Coast captain plays it now for Sam Verrills. Takes some pace out of the game. He was looking a bit hobby there as Tino. Then comes to Foran. Campbell. Inside ball now back to Randall, and Randall put to the turf. 6 metres shy. That's the line to get set. Restart for the ruck infringement as well. So Verrills back open side left here. Campbell spots up the gap between Dewey and May, but it closes quickly. And he'll play it 6 metres out now, left-hand side of the post. Verrills here at hooker. Back on the inside for Jolliffe. Falling, ball and all, not quite there under the black dots. He'll play it now. A couple of chuckles left this set for the Gold Coast Titans. Verrills back across here to Foran, and he fed that ball on straight to Latu Fainu, who receives the intercept, and the Tigers go back on the attack. 15 out, 20 in from the eastern side. It remains Gold Coast 4, West Tigers 0, and that will be a West Tigers penalty.
A bit of questions asked there of the West Tigers defence. A few contested possessions where they've turned it over and the Titans have been on the attack. Really concerning scenes for Tino Fa'asuamala. He was limping after he got up from that tackle that you mentioned, Spriggy, and he's still sort of hobbling in back play, so one to keep an eye on there for the Titans now.
Penalty count 1-all, scoreline 4-0. Back to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, took advantage of that breeze there, the West Tigers. Big touch finder, but Haller's right. Tino's just been struggling at the moment. He's trying to run it out. Obviously, he suffered that ACL last year. He's back into the defensive line, but he's nowhere near 100% yet.
Well, last week after Origin saw him come off the bench, Damon Jolliffe started. This week they're both starting. Regan Campbell-Gillard on the bench as far as that forward rotation for the Gold Coast Titans. Here are the Tigers on the attack. May plays it now. Hope to the right-hand side. Latu Finu onto Adam Dewey. He's playing lock this week. Tackled 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Trying to find their first points of the game. 9 gone first half on ABC Sport. Luai back on the inside here to Taylor May. And he's tackled 20 out. Pipping in from the western side. Tristan Hope, dummy half. Back to Latu Finu. And now this time Alex Twoll on the angled run. He stopped short of that northern line. 15 metres short. In fact, it's been tried from him. And that will be a penalty going the West Tigers' way. So can they take full advantage of this? Notice also Jerome Lawler's not wearing the headgear this afternoon. As they tap quickly here, 15 metres out. Twoll on in turn to Terrell May. He's tackled 7 metres out. Dead centre field here for West Tigers. Dummy half Hope. Inside ball here to Alex Twoll. Looking for career try number 3. And he's 3 metres shy here. Stands in the tackle with Fodawaker. Played to Tristan Hope. Comes left-hand side. It missed one target there in Dewey. On the bounce, it sits up for Jerome Law. Takes Randall and Farrell's with him. And he'll play it now. 6 metres out, left-hand side of the post. Tristan Hope comes open side right now. Latu Finu on to Toa. And now Taruba stepping in field where he's playing by Kieran Foran. Play it 10 out here. 20 in from the eastern side. Couple of plays left this set for West Tigers. Going to be 6 more there for some untidy work from Kieran Foran at marker. So it's going to be a full set now for West Tigers. And now it's come back to Alex Twoll. Charging back inside that 10-metre line for the home side here. He trailed 4-0. 10 gone first half, ABC Sport. Open side left they come from Hope to Dewey. It's been lost by Finu into the path. No, it's still alive there as it's received by Tony Suka, but it went forward. So it will be a Gold Coast Titans ball. 15 out from their own line at northern end. It is Gold Coast 4, West Tigers 0. 11 gone first half, ABC Sport with Brent Sprigg. Dean Holtam on the Carianis. Dean Holtam.
Yeah, well, one thing you just noticed for the Tigers, they're a little bit clunky and out of rhythm with their shifts. They're moving from left to right, trying to run their set plays, which most teams do when they're in good ball, but the service just a little bit off. They're not quite gelling and getting that rhythm together. So a few new combinations, sometimes that does happen. I want to try and tidy that up as the game goes on.
MC on the touchline.
Yeah, Tino's just getting some treatment on that left knee of his as well. He's still sluggish in that defensive line, but at the moment he's just getting that left knee heavily strapped at the moment.
Meanwhile, Gold Coast come left-hand side of the scrum, up that left-hand side of the field. Verrills back on the inside now to Beau Fermor. He's charging into Tristan Hope, and he'll play it here, 30 out from that northern line. First try of the game to Jalen de Groot after 3 minutes. And Jaden Campbell missed the conversion. That's the 4-0 scoreline here. Fodawaker gets up to play it now. 35 out from his own line. Foran onto Brimson. Now it's being lost cold by Philip Sun. Gold Coast error just short of the halfway line. The possession back to West Tigers here.
It was actually a decent play. There was it looked like they had man on man, but the Tigers, Charlie Staines had come rushing in to try and shut it down on Brian Kelly. So the cutout pass was on from Brimson to Sami, but the ball was out in front. Not the cleanest pass, and he probably wasn't ready for it himself either there, Sami. So the Tigers getting another opportunity.
And all played quickly here. A little too quick for Tristan Hope, who was not ready for it at hooker. And he's eventually they survive there as that little darting run from Charlie Staines gets them 30 out from that northern line. And now a break from Studio Taruba. Gold Coast defence comes in late on him. Brian Kelly in from the side, claims him 10 metres out. Dummy half Bird across the Starford Tower. On this open side left now, Dewey, Latu Finu, Luai, wide now, back to Jarrell. Skelton steps in field where he's collared by Brimson. He'll play it. 2 metres shy now, deep in that northwestern corner of Leichhardt Oval. Comes back to Jerome Luai. Latu Finu, back here to Tristan Hope. Big hit as there was Verrills in there as well as Beau Fermor making sure of it. Tristan Hope will play 8 metres out from that northern line. Back to Alex Twoll it comes. Offloads back to Hope. And now Terrell May on here again to Taylor May, who goes over in the corner. Taylor May receives it from Big Bro and goes in to score the try. And West Tigers respond after 13 minutes. It's 4-all, kick to come, West Tigers.
Yeah, a bit of second phase. We had that huge hit on Hope through the middle of the field. The Tigers go to their right. It was, again, a little bit clunky, but the offload came from Alex Twoll, and immediately they go to their left. And big brother, like you said, Terrell, he gets the ball, he spots his brother out to his left, just fires it to him quickly, gives him a bit of time and space to take on his opposite man. He does a really good job just to cut to the outside, engage for feeder, and then carry him over the line. And there was little that the group could do on the edge to try and stop that try. Good work from the debutant for the Tigers.
Michael Carrialis on the touchline.
Yeah, time and space is summed up perfectly from Dean Halliday, because there was a couple of times that Gerald Skelton almost scored a couple of plays earlier. This right-hand Gold Coast defensive edge was just so passive, and they just lacked the urgency needed when they're defending their own try line. And nice bit of play there from the West Tigers.
Taylor May, a guy who had a pretty good start to his 2022 campaign when he was at Penrith, mended his knee the following year. Obviously, had off-field stuff he was going through with various legal worries, but here's Adam Dewey. Will take a sideline conversion, 26 metres out and a metre in from the western side, to give West Tigers the lead. Alex Fawaga says, in Benji, I believe. More of your text shortly. Go around the grounds as well. NRLW happening. Earlier here it was Gold Coast 24, West Tigers 12. This place is pumping. Leichhardt Oval for your Sunday afternoon on ABC Sport. Dewey on the approach, starts out to the right, comes back, and over it goes. West Tigers 6, Gold Coast Titans 4. Paul and Wollongong, listening to your call while watching Roosters v Broncos NRLW. Just a reminder, Paul, because the score there, Roosters 18, Broncos 8 in the first half. Nobidi and Tessapule both score. Jocelyn Kelleher 3 from 3. Tamika Upton is a double for the Broncos. And later on, following the men's game in Newcastle, the Knights and the Warriors playing on the stadium. Queensland Cup first half, winner Manly and Western Clydesdales and 0-0. Super Netball semi-finals, Melbourne Vixens 13 lead to Adelaide Thunderbirds 11 in the first quarter there. In the AFL second quarter in Geelong, the Cats 55, St Kilda 34. Back from the kick-off here, quick spread to that left-hand side again, and Skelton was almost out for all money. He's run down there, though, by Chris Randall eventually. Played there to Jerome Luai. Open side right, there is the try scorer, Taylor May. And he stands in a two-man tackle on his own 20-metre line for the West Tigers. Tristan Hope back off here again to Terrell May, and he'll play it metre short of halfway. Off to Tristan Hope. Right-hand side he goes. Dewey. Inside ball to 12. Offloads back to Tristan Hope. Starting for West Tigers at hooker this afternoon. That'd be Croissau on the bench. And Adam Dewey eventually claimed 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side for West Tigers. 15 gone first half on ABC Sport. There's a run from Sunia Taruva, gained about a dozen. And he's 30 out from that northern line. Played to Tristan Hope. Blindside right he goes. End of the set. The kick from Latu Whanu. High down that corner. And received first by the Gold Coast Titans out there. I reckon it's Kelly underneath all of that. And he'll be playing it 13 out from his own line, northern end. Now it's back with Philip Sami. The West Tigers defence just hems in the Gold Coast Titans here. After they scored the first try of the game, Gold Coast with Jalen de Groot. West Tigers a bit back to lead 6-4. And now a big hit there from that on that man, Jalen de Groot, from the West Tigers defence. A couple of tackles left this set now for Gold Coast. 30 out, 20 in from the western side. A burst from dummy half there for Verrills. Angles his run there past Bird, but he is claimed eventually by Bird and also Latu Whanu. Last play Gold Coast 40 out as Foran fires it right-hand side. Campbell just thumps it downfield off that right boot. It's on the chest of Gerald Skelton, and he steps through centre field. Slots away 1-2. Flick pass is lost there by Charlie Staines. West Tigers error. Gold Coast scrum 30 out from that southern line. West Tigers 6, Gold Coast Titans 4. Dean Halliday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, that's what you call a high-risk play coming out from their own end, but it was on the money there for Charlie Staines, so he created a bit of space on the outside, did Skelton. Throws a one-hand flick. It was right out the front. Charlie Staines, it comes up with the error. He apologises to his teammates, but it puts the Titans back into some territory they haven't been in for a little while now.
Back to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, it was on there. It was definitely a catchable pass there for Charlie Staines. I don't think that Skelton should be penalised for passing that ball because it's definitely on, but it has put his team under pressure now.
Right-hand side of the scrum they come. Campbell goes to defend on Luai, actually claimed there by Suka. 20 out from that southern line. Gold Coast deep in attack after a pretty ordinary previous set. The Charlie Staines error gives them good position here. Fodawaker put it on his back. 10 metres out centre field. Play it there to Verrills. West Tigers lead 6-4 here at Leichhardt Oval. Campbell, little pump there. It's been lost by Jojo Fafita. So great solid defence that time from West Tigers. Big hit from Taylor May. And now they come away at that 10-metre line. West Tigers on the attack through Taruba.
Yeah, great work there from Taylor May. And it was a little trick play, a little like a hang play from Jaden Campbell, and some boots for offside from the Tigers fan. But Taylor May, great with the ball in hand, and he showed he's got some really good defensive instincts as well.
What's it called when the players form a little diamond behind the screen?
Yeah, that was interesting. I haven't seen that for a while.
I think on the right-hand side of the field here, West Tigers with Stafford Toa, former Newcastle Knight. His 15th game this year for West Tigers. Comes back in centre field now for Terrell May. And he's tackled 7 metres short of halfway. Kind of a packed Wayne Pearce Hill. West Tigers 6, Gold Coast Titans 4. 18 gone, 22 left in the first half on ABC Sport. 5 inside Gold Coast territory. Last play West Tigers. Played quickly here as Jerome Luai kicks into the set. And again, Jalen de Groot leaps through the air, brings it down cleanly, despite he had a couple of guys bearing down on him. And they'll start a new set from there, the Gold Coast Titans. 20 in from that western side, 10 out from their own line at the northern end. The shadows of those nice big trees here at Leichhardt. Beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. Verrills shifts it left-hand side now. Philip Sami scored 6 tries in 5 games in games against West Tigers. Can he find the scoreboard here? 6-4 here, so it's kind of slow going scoring-wise early, but it's been a fast end-to-end game so far. Verrills comes open side right now to AJ Brimson, makes the break over halfway. He's claimed here by Bird. Now it's the last play Gold Coast. Quick right foot kick into the set from Jaden Campbell. Down to the wing there for Charlie Staines, and he goes nowhere at the insistence of Brian Kelly. The new set will start there for West Tigers, 20 out from their own line.
Yeah, good set there from the Titans. They haven't had a lot of possession, as you mentioned before, and they've sort of been on the back foot for the last 5 to 10 minutes. So they really needed to get into that set, put a positive kick in, which is what they did.
Tigers 6, Titans 4 here on ABC Sport. The first of our 2 games today. Here's Jerome Luai. And his options via the offload. Won't get one there. Wrapped up in a 3-man tackle. Now play to Tristan Hope. For the pass through centre field now for Taruba, who was taken high by Chris Brandon. Penalty West Tigers. Back to touchline of Garianis.
Yeah, the momentum has shifted significantly into the West Tigers' favour now, and we thought it'd be a bit of a game of touch footy, and while the points haven't come, both sides have been willing to chance their arm.
I'll tell you where there are some points happening in Brisbane, where it's the Roosters 24, Broncos 10 in the first half NRLW. Lydia Koenig now in for the Roosters, and Jocelyn Kelleher converts. Plenty of points in the first half there. Pretty exciting though, this game so far, Dean Hallertau. 6-4 the scoreline.
Yeah, really exciting. Plenty of feeling, and the atmosphere, as we mentioned, is great.
Terrell May receives it here off the tap in centre field. Stands the tackle of Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, who had that left knee further strapped, as MC mentioned earlier in the game. And now it's Fanua Bolo off the bench. One of the first rotations for West Tigers. Another one there in a Croissau, who started on the bench. He's in a dummy half. Ref then the sharp calls him back on. Croissau was napping here as Gold Coast counts on that. Play the ball, and that was quick thinking from Verrills. Gold Coast go back on the attack.
Yeah, that's really a comedy there from the West Tigers. A quick play the ball after told to reset, and Croissau was organising the next play, so switched off for a second and turned the ball over.
Titans back on the attack with their captain Big Tino, who's brought to the ground. 35 out from that northern line, 20 in from the eastern side. Verrills off to Foran, and now a little half break from Brian Kelly as he crawls toward the halfway. Play there to Foran. Back now to Beau Fermor. He's collared and stopped by Adam Dewey. Last play Gold Coast, 42 out from that southern line. Kick from Jaden Campbell up in the air. Charlie Staines calls for it, leaps for it now, brings it down. And we'll start a new set from 25 out from their own line. West Tigers 10 in from the eastern side in front of the hill. It shows the scoreboard of West Tigers 6, Gold Coast 4 here on ABC Sport. Taruba, the fullback, play at 30 out. Croissau open here towards Joel Skelton. As mentioned, a try scorer against the Warriors last week. 18 and a half left, by the way, in this first half, so we're over the halfway mark of the opening 40. Staines, good burst from him. Croatia goes himself from dummy half. Tries to catch four and napping. His jinking run stops there in the Potawaka tackle. 40 out centre field here, West Tigers. Last play. They come to the right-hand side, Dewey. High kick downfield for AJ Brimson, the Gold Coast fullback, and he opts to take the contact there of Bird, and also in there for Noah Bolle, and he'll play it 15 out, 20 in from the eastern side.
It's really handy having that option of Adam Dewey as another kicker, because it takes some pressure off Fainu and also off Jerome Luai, and you can take options on the last play to get an easy kick away.
There's another dozen there for the Gold Coast Titans through their hooker in Verrills. It's come back now to that man in Jolliffe. 42 out from their own line here, the Gold Coast Titans. Over halfway they go through Jaden Campbell, and there was Randall burst by on the escort there and wiped out a West Tigers player, so it's going to be penalty West Tigers. But
they're going to challenge it.
Let's have a listen.
Got a captain's challenge in the Gold Coast. On field decision is he takes the player out.
Pretty straightforward.
I think maybe Luai had committed to the lead runner there in Randall, so he may have initiated the contact, which we'll see on the replay.
Chris Randall runs directly at Jerome Luai and takes him out of play.
I'm wrong.
The challenge is unsuccessful, penalty stands.
It's a rare scenario. West Tigers 6, Gold Coast Titans 4, 17 left in the first half. Off the Carianas on the touchline.
Yeah, Jerome milked that well as well. He hit the deck immediately, despite the minimal contact, but in the end, the bunkers got that one right.
So, West Tigers penalty on this western side. They'll tap 40 out in a fast opening half here in dry conditions. Croatia receives the offload. Directs traffic with his right hand and still carries the ball, and now he's claimed 20 out centre field by Verrills. Played there to Latu Fainu. Onto his right now, Dewey. Whipped back on the inside to Suniga Taruva. Gains a good 10 metres there. He's 9 metres out, the right-hand side of the post, northern end. Croatia comes open side left. Back to Fanua Bolle, and he's claimed 5 out, dead centre field here for West Tigers. It's Croatia out to Fainu, and now Luai onto the corner here. Jarrell Skelton this time, but a try assist from Taylor May, and he goes crashing over. Jarrell Skelton, who has been threatening in this game so far, up that left edge, and he scores West Tigers' second try. It's 10-4, kick to come, 16 left first half on ABC Sport. You're with Dean Hallertau.
Now go back to the penalty on Jerome Luai, for Jerome Luai, with Randall taking him out. The Tigers go immediately on the attack, and this left side of theirs, that they know if they can get early ball out wide, the passive defence that Michael Carianas mentioned before of the Titans line on the edge, you cannot stop a player when you're backpedaling on your own try line, which is what happens there. Skelton's a big man, he's got lots of power. They get the ball to him early with only a few metres to go, and he barges over in the corner through some really nice set play to their left. A couple of lead runners, all halves involved. Adam Dewey playing a role as well. It's really nice, well-planned football from the West Tigers.
Back to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, Tino Fasulumalawi, boys, has gone up the tunnel with that knee issue. He's tried to play out, but has struggled over the past couple of minutes, bringing Campbell Gillard on.
Okay, thanks MC. So things could be going from bad to worse for the Gold Coast Titans. They've had injury concerns at various stages. I think this is a super long term. Keanu Kinney's been the most important of those, I suppose, at fullback, and Tino came back from an ACL in round 3, but David Fafita came back last week. A lot of guys have missed a handful of weeks, 2 or 3 or 5, and just had guys coming and going. No real cohesion this year for the Gold Coast Titans across their first 16, now 17 games. I hate to lose their captain. Here is Adam Dewey. 27 metres out, metre in from the western side, same part of the ground as his previous successful conversion up to Taylor May's try. Should be the same kick and same result. Indeed it is. Straight over the back side it goes. He's 2 from 2. And it's West Tigers 12, the Gold Coast Titans 4 here on ABC Sport. Griffo and Harvey Bay listening in on a tiny portable transistor radio. Go the Tigers. You can't buy those anymore, Griffo. That is a bygone thing, but it's great you have one, and I still have mine at home as well. Tim in Lismore. Sounds good. ABC Sport technician having a blinder. That's our man Joel Casson, also a Mad West Tigers fan. You can hear the crowd here. Sounds a little loud, if anything, to me. I think it's just because of the atmosphere here at Leichhardt Oval. Speaking of the trees at Leichhardt, will they be surviving the alleged redevelopment? Mention the Highlands. I'd say they would be. Yeah.
There's a bit going on at the southern end, but I think part of the plans is to retain those.
Yeah. No, it's an iconic part of this ground here. As I said, the second of 3 games they're playing this year. And so far, so good for West Tigers. 12-4 their lead here. 14 and a half left in this opening half. And we'll preview Newcastle and the Warriors shortly with Maury, Louis and Gibbsy. Suka tackled 30 out from his own line here. Croissau swings it across, open side right to Adam Dewey. Good post-contact gain there toward the halfway. Takes Randall and also Fodawaker with him. Play at 5 short of the halfway stripe. Croissau on to Sunia Taruva. He's now inside Gold Coast territory. Last play for the West Tigers with momentum midway through this first half at Leichhardt. Luai's kick goes up. Skelton bats it back here. A couple of bodies crashed to the turf, and it was deemed to have been knocked forward by Skelton. Says Bloom the Sharp. So it will be a Gold Coast ball, roughly 20 out from their own line, northern end.
I thought he knocked it backwards over his head.
Back, and then that sort of collision there with the Groot.
No challenge but for the Tigers.
Yeah. So Gold Coast will play it 15 out from their own line and go on the attack. They scored the first try of the game through Jalen de Groot, but Taylor May and Jarrell Skelton are on the board for West Tigers for a 12-4 scoreline. Down to MC shortly as they see a run from Regan Campbell-Gillard off the bench today. Foreign to the left-hand side, and up that edge, Brian Kelly is stopped 40 out from that northern line. Foreign feeds it back from dummy half towards Furmore. And now playing it for Verrills. Onto the right-hand side. Brimson shows good pace. Now to the right-hand side to Campbell. Offload here from Fafita. Back to Jaden Campbell. Tackle 35 out. This will be last play Gold Coast Titans. Open side left. The kick comes from Kieran Foran. Taruva has eyes for it. Has the Sundays eyes as well. It's lost back here. Still the last by the Gold Coast Titans. So still the last, and now a changeover. 20 out from that southern line. It remains West Tigers 12, Gold Coast 4, and our clock's just gone, which is annoying. 12 and a half left in the game. MC on the touchline.
Yeah, the Titans just got to find a way to try and complete and get back into this arm wrestle at the moment. It's been all the West Tigers, and that's off the back of some real flimsy defensive efforts from the Titans.
Here they go. West Tigers on the attack with Jack Bird. I've called Jackson Bird a couple of times, not to confuse him with the New South Wales, former Australian fast bowler. Croissau dummy half. Open side left here to Jerome Luai. Kicks him just in front of the 40-metre line. Sits up again on its point for AJ Brimson. He's 25 out before he's met by the contact of Suka and also Taylor May. And they'll start a new set from there, the Gold Coast Titans. 12 left in this first half on ABC Sport. It's the West Tigers 12, Gold Coast 4. And the Titans on the attack here with Jalen de Groot. Stop 30 out. Played quickly here. Philip Sami takes on the tackle of Terrell May. Plays it quickly now back to Verrills, and now 4 on the inside ball to both of them. No real gain for the second rower. He's stopped 8 metres short of the halfway. Flat ball from dummy half. Comes wide here to Cleese-Haas, and Cleese-Haas shoves out the offload back to Campbell-Gillard. Sees a bit of an opening there, but tackled by Luai and also Taylor May. 40 out from the West Tigers line. They go on the right-hand side now, Campbell, and now the kick from Jojo Fafita. Wobbles down towards Sunia Taruva, who grounds it a metre in the field of play. And they'll start a new set there, the West Tigers. Deep at that southern end of Leichhardt Oval in front of the Keith Barnes stand. They lead 12-4 here, 11 left in the first half.
Yeah, there's a real momentum when Api Croissau and Fanil Polo come on the field for the Tigers. Obviously, those guys have started a lot this season, and maybe that was a little bit of the impetus for Benji Marshall and giving those guys a fresh start from the bench to have a bit of an impact.
seeing as well. Jojo Fafita's having some attention from the trainers in back play as well, so we'll keep an eye on him, MC, as West Tigers go on the attack. Croissau to the right-hand side. Plenty of space out there as it's come back now to Starford Toa. Claim 20 out and 20 in from the eastern side, the far side of Leichhardt Oval. Jerome Luai, from the 20-metre line. It's a huge breeze going all the way down towards AJ Brimson, who's other side of the opposing 20-metre line. So he receives that high ball, brings it back in open space, and now tackled out there by Croissau, 40 out centre field. Gold Coast on the attack, but it's West Tigers who lead 12-4 here on ABC Sport. 10 left in the first half. Wait for a break in play, and down to MC shortly as Campbell at dummy half goes on here back to Randall. And Chris Randall is claimed there on halfway by Terrell May. Cleese Haas to the left-hand side now, Foran. Here's a dangerous look here from Kelly, finds Philip Sami, and he's tackled ball and all. 35 out from that southern line. Gold Coast going deep in attack now, Foran. Back to Cleese Haas. He steamrolls one would-be tackler, and now he's claimed 28 metres out from that southern line. Last play, Gold Coast. Kick goes up in the air from Kieran Foran. Randall, his teammate there in Jojo Fafita, kicks for the in-goal. Dewey watching it back there, so too Charlie Staines. Does he get back in the field of play? No. Gold Coast forcing him there, and that will be a line dropout. Repeat set coming up for the Gold Coast Titans. 9.5 minutes left in this opening half. West Tigers 12, Gold Coast 4. Public Arsenal touchline.
Yeah, just trying to get an update on Tino, boys. They think he's been cleared of the ACL, which is obviously the fear. That's the one that ended his season prematurely last year. He's back on the bench, but I'll just try and get word if he's going to be expected back on the field or not.
Okay, thanks, MC. That would be significant. Short drop out here, collected by Jojo Fafita, 15 metres out and gets within 8 metres now. So, tackled by Seafar, played to Verrills. They're inside 10 metres here, the Gold Coast Titans. Foran off to Furmore, spins it left-hand side and crashing over Philip Sami. So, this time it was the Gold Coast left edge, which was the most potent, and he's limping now, Philip Sami, but he has scored a try. 12 points to 8, kick to come, Gold Coast coming up with 8 minutes left in this first half on ABC Sport. Dean Hallett's out.
Yeah, well, Jojo Fafita had a strong carry off the back of that dropout, or a short dropout attempt, and the quick play the ball, a bit of a disorganised defensive line for the Tigers, meant that they could shift it out to their left, and there was a decision made by Starford Toa to get up and in and try and shut the play down. Charlie Staines was forced to follow him, which created a lot of space on the outside for Philip Sami to get over in the corner, despite the efforts there of Latu finding to try and shut him down. And I think we've seen Kieran Foran on the ground there. He got absolutely nailed after he passed that ball to shift it out wide, and he's clutching at the ribs. So he's either really, really winded or nursing some sort of damage to the ribcage there.
That's MC on the sideline.
Yeah, they think it's a lateral ligament for Tino, so he hasn't officially been ruled out of the game, but obviously that's a general recovery time of one of those injuries is like 4 to 6 weeks. He's just up at the moment, so he's going to get on the exercise bike just to see how he goes.
Getting that stage of the year where any injury can be your last game for the season with only 6-7 weeks left for a lot of these sides. Jaden Campbell on that eastern sideline, 25 metres out from that southern end. He strikes it with the right boot, and it is waved away. So he's now none from 2. Dewey's 2 from 2 at the other end, but it's 12 points to 8. The West Tigers lead here at Leichhardt Oval on this Sunday afternoon on ABC Sport. 7 minutes left in the first half. Around the grounds in the NRL W half-time in Brisbane, Roosters 24, the Broncos 10. Queensland Cup first half. Winner Manly Seagulls 16, Western Clydesdales 0. Super Netball semi-finals, second quarter. Melbourne 22, the Vixens lead Adelaide Thunderbirds 20 in the AFL half-time. Geelong 62, St Kilda 47. We'll preview, of course, the Newcastle Knights and New Zealand Warriors coming up with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. Earlier in the NRLW here at Leichhardt, Gold Coast 24 beat West Tigers 12. It's fed back here to Jamin Jolla. Big hit up there on Alex Seafar. And he'll play it 8 metres out from that northern line. Low pass coming out here through centre field. Someone's lost their boot. Jojo Fafita it is who's playing it, and now he goes to fetch that. Aaron Shoe. Regan Campbell-Gillard gains a quick 10 metres here, by the way. Now they come left-hand side. Foran On in turn here again to Brian Kelly. He makes the break over halfway. Has some support there in Brimson, but he's run down from behind there. Good chase and tackle by Adam Dewey. They're 30 out from West Tigers line though, and they spread this tide. West Tigers defence. The kick does come out here to Jalen de Groot. That was superb. Well done from Jaden Campbell, who saw the winger bursting up the right edge, and Jalen de Groot scores his second try. That's a fantastic effort from all parties there for the Gold Coast Titans, and it's 12 points all. Kicks to come Titans.
Yeah, great try there from the Titans, and it was really nice setup play. They go through their yardage, typical yardage there, coming away from the kickoff. They go to the middle, then they shift it to a left edge, and then Kieran Foran decides to take on the short side down their left, the Tigers right, and Fanil Pollard actually looped around to cover the defence on that side. That is why we're seeing the line break from Brian Kelly, and straight away Jaden Campbell, when they shift it back to their right, he spots all the space in behind, puts in a really nice kick right on the money there for de Groot, chasing through and unopposed on his way to score a 4-point try.
Michael Carras on the touchline.
Yeah, just on Tino watch, boys. Just on the exercise bike now. He's spending some time talking with one of Dean Hallertau's former teammates, Anthony LaFranchi, who's the football manager at the Tigers, just trying to get a gauge. It looks like he's keen to come back at some point, potentially in the second half, but he's just trying to keep it warm.
Jaden Campbell having set up that fantastic try a short time ago. The conversion 20 out, 10 in from the western side, and it just comes off the post and ricochets in. That's his first successful attempt of the day, and it brings the Gold Coast Titans back to the lead. 14-12, 4:55 left in this first half on ABC Sport. 0467 920 222. I love the call, gents, says Mark. I'm also listening on an ancient Panasonic radio cassette out in my man cave workshop in the backyard. Good on you, Mark. Cody, thank you for your text. Yeah, the crowd noise and the excitement of the day is all sort of part of the fun, I suppose. But yes, glad you can hear us clearly, and also the effects and the atmosphere here at Leichhardt Oval. Jody and Mackay, thank you, Joe. It's nice to hear from you. 0467 920 222. Off to Maury, Louie and Gibbsy to preview the last game of the round. The Knights and the Warriors up next after ABC News. We've still got 4:50 left in this first half at Leichhardt. Jolliffe again, the chosen one for the hit up. And he's claimed by Caroyasau, 10 metres out from that northern line. Campbell Gillard on his angled run, brought down there by Adam Dewey, 20 metres out. Now as they shift it back to that left-hand side. Fleece Haas, 25 out from that northern line. And a reel on here through centre field as Verrills finds Campbell Gillard once more. And it takes 3 West Tigers to stop him. And he'll play it there for Verrills with a flat ball towards Brimson. Skips into the wall of Terrell May and Matthew Caroyasau, and now Campbell, a last play kick into the breeze, onto the chest of Sunia Taruva. Gets there just in time, Taruva. Take a clean catch, 15 out from his own line, gains about 10 more, and he's claimed there to start a new set for West Tigers. Gold Coast do lead though, 14-12, 3:53 left in the first half.
Yeah, it's a strong carry there from Sunia Taruva, and then off the back of that, Jerome Lawyer makes plenty of meters as well. Just keeping an eye on Adam Dewey's energy levels. Obviously he's playing in the middle of the field, which means he's got a higher work rate defensively, and he's sort of just coasting around at the moment.
Caroyasau to Jack Bird, and he stands on the tackle of Ford, and also Furmore out on that right edge in attack for West Tigers. Latu Whanu on to Dewey, and now Luai picks out Taylor May, goes away one fan, makes the break here. He's not called out from that northern line. Last play West Tigers, Skelton dummy half, back to Jerome Luai. They're still threatening here. Fed back to Rel May, back to Starford Toa. He rips it all the way back here in open space. It's there for Taylor May, but he retreats to beyond that 20-metre line now. His pass almost kicked off there on the bounce by Kieran Foran. It is in fact stopped by Kieran Foran, but he's tackled in turn by Adam Dewey. So almost out for money. It was a bit fun seeing the 300-game veteran make a big Kieran Foran. He wouldn't have gone far. 80-metre run for the intercept, but yes, Gold Coast are slowed down here somewhat as Bo Furmore comes up that left-hand side and can't offload free here. 2.5 left in the opening 40 here at Leichhardt Oval. Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12 here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg in Hallertown, Michael Carianis. Injury concern for Tino Fasumala Aui is, I guess, the unfortunate thing for the Gold Coast Titans, despite their lead. Campbell for the right-hand side. Now Jojo Fafita almost slipped the tackle there of Taylor May. He'll play it now 25 out. Jaden Campbell, who engineered the last try by foot. He kicks up in the air and it's picked up by Skelton, but will come back here for a
escort on.
Yes, as Brimson was the man who was felled. Sit on the leap up and right in the shadows. So
he takes a step to his left there. Jerome Luai gets in the way of Brimson chasing hard. He probably didn't need to do it because the kick was too deep for Skelton, but it gives a penalty to the Titans once again. They get a real good crack at the Tigers.
Minute 40 left in the game. Jason's listening on his mobile in Melbourne. That's great too, Jason. ABC Listen Out has all the things covered. Cleese Haas in a four-man tackle. Stopped here. 8 metres out from that southern line. Verrills dummy half. What does he do? Looks to the left-hand side. That's knocked away by Croissau. Back in the path there of Dewey. Croissau's out for all money over the 30. Back on the inside now for Seafarth, and he's collared there by his fellow back rower there in Beau Fermor. He gets up. Tackle won't count, so Seafarth's still going. Shares it with Staines. He pops out the ball here, which goes forward in front of Jack Bird. Started well, didn't quite end that way for West Tigers, and alas, their last chance of points goes being in this first half.
Yeah, the pass there from Staines was not needed. I know he felt that there was space on the outside of him, so he wanted to get it there as quickly as he could, and potentially there's a try on the line, but under pressure he tries to pop it over the top. It was a forward pass, as called by the referee, and rightly so, but Alex Seafarth did a really good job, most of the work there, and they hand the ball straight back to the Titans.
MC on the touchline.
Yeah, that was ugly from both sides in the end, but that was a terrible ball from Charlie Staines. They had an opportunity to play out that set with the Titans on the back foot, and they just forced a horrible ball, and now most likely his side will trail by 2 points at the half-time break.
Yeah, Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12, the score as it currently stands. So, scrum feed Gold Coast, 35 out centre field. Comes away here to Philip Sami, one of their 3 try scorers in this first half at Leichhardt Oval. Regan Campbell-Gillard brought to the turf here. 22 seconds left before the half-time hooter. Just inside West Tigers territory. Verrills back to Campbell, who cuts back infield where he's tackled by Dewey and also Croissau. Workload for both of those guys, even with Croissau coming off the bench. As here comes Philip Sami. One-on-one steal there away by Latu Whanu. The dying seconds of the first half. Still alive here for West Tigers. Fed back to the left-hand side. Dewey, has he found the opening? No, he's wrapped up by Campbell-Gillard, and that will be it. Half-time here at the 8th Wonder, where Gold Coast leads West Tigers 14 points to 12 in a seesaw in first half. Gold Coast scored first through Jalen de Groot, his first try of the year after 3 minutes. It was then back-to-back tries for the home side through Taylor May in the 12th and Jarrell Skelton 11 minutes later, the 23rd minute, and then in quick succession, Philip Sami and Jalen de Groot went in for the Gold Coast Titans to make it 14 points to 12, the halftime score. Jaden Campbell is 1 from 3 kicking. Adam Dewey has both of his conversions, and the visitors lead narrowly here in Hallertown, a battle of cellar dwellers in 2025.
Yeah, and it's kind of appeared that way with the way the game's gone. It has been back and forth and end to end, but the Tigers have had plenty of opportunities and squandered them with some last passes that have gone to ground. We've seen one just recently before the break. The Titans have had some really clever play once they've got in attacking position. Jaden Campbell's been instrumental in some of those, as has Kieran Foran, so they've looked pretty good once they've got the ball and are attacking the Tigers line. But we expected a bit of a touch score and end to end. It's probably been loose at times, and both teams defensively have had plenty of lapses, so that's probably one thing that both coaches will want to address when they get in half-time, is just some cohesion on their edges, some clever decision-making, because it looks like they're doing different things at different times. And I'm speaking for both teams here, so that's probably point number one for them to fix. And then errors for the Tigers, 8 errors I think they had in the first half. That's a real killer when you're trying to mount some pressure and build a game. 8 errors is not going to help do that.
Completions are low to mid-70s for both sides, so that sort of underlines the issue there. 3 line breaks apiece, penalty count 4-2 West Tigers way, and a further 2-1 set restarts going the Tigers way here as well. Malcolm Carianis, just recap for us the issue around Teno Fa'asuamaleaui, probably the main issue for the Gold Coast Titans in that first half.
Yeah, definitely the main issue for either side, actually. At the halftime break, knee complaint for Tino. I think it's a lateral ligament in his knee, so he hopes to play on. If it's just a sprain, he might be able to play on. He was on the exercise bike. He was running on the sideline, so the hope is from the bench that he will play on. But the relief is that it wasn't his ACL, obviously, which ended his year last year.
Okay, thanks, MC. We'll get more from you in the second half after ABC News. 0467 920 222. Enjoying the call, boys, while playing in the sandpit with my young bloke. Keep up the good work, says Hogs. Good on you, Hogs. Missy on the mounts. Great to hear from you, as always, Missy. And John is enjoying listening while assembling a double bunk bed. Good distraction from the frustration. Double bunk bed. That'd be something. Not just heavy, just a single. Yeah, I'd imagine it would be. Speaking of heavy, John from Oatley says, hoping the Tigers win or I'll have to cry myself to sleep again. Thank you, John. Well, so far it's a tight game at least. Gold Coast leads 14 points to 12, quickly around the grounds in the NRLW second half. Roosters 24, Broncos 10, that game in Brisbane. Queensland Cup first half, winner Manly 20, leads Western Clydesdale 6. Super Netball semi-final, halftime score there. The Vixens of Melbourne 28, lead Adelaide 25. AFL third quarter, Geelong 62, leads St Kilda 47. If you are listening through ABC Local Radio Gold Coast, you'll get a full call on local radio of the Adelaide versus Gold Coast game. So we'll farewell you for that. Otherwise, of course, you can hear the Newcastle Knights and New Zealand Warriors on the ABC Listen app as always, or on your other local Queensland frequencies as well. We'll preview that game next. It's 14-12 here at Leichhardt, the Gold Coast favour. Right now, time for ABC News.
News with Satyam Weinstein. Tasmanian Labor leader Dean Winter says he won't compromise on his party's ideals, but will work with other parties to form government. The Tasmanian Premier, Jeremy Rockcliffe, says he'll be seeking to have his government recommissioned as he claimed victory for the Liberal Party. The Liberals are on track to hold or potentially improve on the 14 seats they held before the election after gaining a swing of about 2.5%. Labor leader Dean Winter has not conceded defeat and says he'll try to form government with the support of the crossbench, with another election now out of the question.
I will play my part in making this parliament work in the best interests of our state. It seems likely that the three major parties in the state will end up with more or less the same number of seats as they did in the last parliament. Another election is not an option, which means we need to figure this out.
Voters in Japan are casting ballots for seats in the upper house of the country's legislature. They're voting for candidates contesting half of the 248 upper house seats, with early results expected this evening. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba says his ruling coalition could face possible defeat in an election that could worsen the country's political instability. A poor performance would not immediately trigger a change of government. Hamas health officials in Gaza say another 36 people have been killed in shootings at aid distribution sites. Witnesses and hospital officials say Israeli soldiers opened fire with machine guns mounted on tanks and drones at 2 sites near Rafah and Khan Yunis. Gaza's civil defense agency says they were among 86 people killed by Israeli gunfire and airstrikes in the past 48 hours. It comes as Israel and Hamas take part in ceasefire talks in Qatar, where international mediators say there have been no breakthroughs. More than 100 people have been arrested at protests across Britain for supporting a pro-Palestinian group banned by the government earlier this month. The BBC's Nick Johnson has more.
Dozens of protesters were huddled in torrential rain, some of them brandishing handwritten placards, all of which read, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine action." Police officers moved swiftly to arrest those holding the signs, many of whom appeared to be over the age of 60. One woman claimed to be in her 80s and was walking with a stick. Lawyers representing Palestine action are back in court on Monday with the aim of overturning the Home Office's decision to ban the group.
There's hope a new agreement between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwandan-backed M23 rebels will end 3 decades of conflict. Kinshasa and the rebel group have agreed in principle to a peace deal brokered by Qatar and are due to sign it next month. Last month, the Rwandan and Congolese foreign ministers signed a peace deal during a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. The U.S. Special Envoy for Africa, Masad Bouzlos, says he's hopeful a deal will see an end to the violence.
At least 6 million lives were lost and millions of displaced and refugees are suffering. So they have both committed to resolving this, and we've seen nothing but good faith from them.
6 people, including 3 children, have been rescued from the Mount Field National Park in Tasmania's south after being caught in heavy snow overnight. Sophie Jaggers reports.
The Tasmanian family raised the alarm with police yesterday afternoon and were told to seek shelter in a nearby hut. They had set off on a day walk, but changing weather conditions prevented them from accessing the walking track. Police say extreme weather conditions prevented a helicopter from reaching the family, so a search and rescue team was sent in on foot, contending with strong winds and nearly a foot of snow. The crew reached the family shortly before midnight, finding them safe but cold and wet. They were evacuated via helicopter this morning, once conditions cleared.
A US tech company says its chief executive has quit after he was apparently caught on a big screen at a Coldplay concert, embracing a female co-worker. In a video clip that went viral, a man and woman were shown on a big screen at the arena in Massachusetts, hugging before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. The pair were identified in US media as Andy Byron, a married chief executive of Astronomer, and Kristen Cabot, the firm's chief people officer. Astronomer says in a statement, Andy Byron has tendered his resignation and the board of directors has accepted. An Australian boxer, Tim Tszyu, has lost his world title fight against American Sebastian Fundora in Las Vegas. He was knocked down in the opening round of his super welterweight rematch. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Everyone's an expert at something. It's what makes us all special. If only that were true.
Join Tom Gleeson for brand new hard quiz.
No expert subject turned away.
Back Wednesday, July 23 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Premiership.
Dunny half swung back now here towards AJ Brimson. Little show and go. Now to the right for Kieran Foran. Campbell goes very wide here for Jalen de Groot, who goes over in the corner. It was the shift left and then back to the right. And the Gold Coast Titans hit pay dirt. They score the first try of the game through Jalen de Groot. Chris Owen will play that metres out from that northern line. Back to Alex Twal it comes. Offloads back to Hope. And now Terrell May on here again to Taylor May, who goes over in the corner. Taylor May receives it from Big Bro and goes in to score the try. And West Tigers respond after 13 minutes. 5 out, dead centre field here for West Tigers. It's Croyce out to Fanu. And now Luai onto the corner here. Jarrell Skelton this time. Got a try assist from Taylor May. And he goes crashing over. Jarrell Skelton, who has been threatening in this game so far, up that left edge, and he scores West Tigers' second try. They're 30 out from West Tigers' line though, and they spread this tide. West Tigers' defence. The kick does come out here to Jalen de Groot. That was superb. Well done from Jaden Campbell, who saw the winger bursting up the right edge, and Jalen de Groot scores his second try. That's a fantastic effort from all parties there for the Gold Coast Titans. Jaden Campbell, the conversion 20 out, hit in from the western side, and it just comes off the post and ricochets in. That's his first successful attempt of the day, and it brings the Gold Coast Titans back to the lead, 14-12.
The 2025 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio,
And on the ABC Listen app.
That's our halftime score here at Leichhardt Oval. Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12. And of course, we finish round 20 in Newcastle, where we'll return you to Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis, and John Gibbs. We're getting closer to the action there. Maury, hello again to you.
Yeah, thank you, Spriggy. Beautiful day here in the Hunter. Crowd starting to come in with kick-off just over an hour away between the Newcastle Knights, who sit 13th on the table with 16 points, and the Warriors 4th on 28. So a vital game for the Warriors to maintain their 4-point advantage over the 5th place Brisbane Broncos. Team news not quite yet through. We know Brodie Jones is out for Newcastle, expecting Jermaine McEwen to start in the second row and Thomas Cant to be added to the bench. It's the 100th game for Bradman Best, the Newcastle centre, against this Warriors side. Luke Lewis, good afternoon to you. Both teams have had significant injury worries, but it's the Warriors who have got plenty to play for in terms of wrapping up a spot in the top 4 in the coming weeks.
Yeah, good evening, boys. Absolutely. The Warriors got a couple of massive injuries with obviously Luke Metcalf, Mitch Barnett, just to name a few, but they are still sitting pretty in the top 4, and I think if they get a win today here, get a little bit of confidence in that jersey, and they're going to be sitting there, I think, at the back end of the year. I think today's win will just get them across the line and keep them in that top 4, so it's a huge game for them to be playing. Got a couple of good games towards the back end of the season as well, but I like the Warriors today.
And for the Knights, John Gibbs, welcome back to you. Dane Gagai gets his second start at fullback. He was very capable in that role last week, and their two best attacking options other than Dane Gagai appear to be their centres, Fletcher Hunt and Bradman Best.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Andrew. And it's a problem for them, scoring points. They've scored the least amount of points of any team. Their completions are the worst. It's the worst completing side up against the best completing side. So if they play to their ability, the Warriors, they should win this game. As both of you said, this is an important game for them to keep their spot in the top 4. And as we get close to the end, they can really make a bird of being in the top 4. But they control the ball well. I think they'll be too strong. And you can't see where they're going to score points, Newcastle. That is their problem.
And the Warriors still have plenty of star power, Louis, with Kurt Capewell in the centres, Dallin Watene-Jalesniak, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, to name but a few. And right up there in the Buy of the Year stakes, they're like Aaron Clark.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you just mentioned, let's not forget Tane Tuilagi. I like him. He's a good little player. He's got some X factor about him. He's very good on his feet. He worries a lot of defensive side, especially close to the line with the way that he plays. Seen him score a couple of really good tries this year. And yeah, I like the Warriors. I really do. I feel like with Gibbsy, what he said in that stat, if they complete well, we've seen the Newcastle Knights play here in front of a packed stadium. It's not going to bother them too much, but they struggle holding the ball, come out their own end. The only good thing is that they've got Bradman Best playing his 100th game. Surely they step up for him. They have been sick during the week, but they've got to be able to shift that ball to Bradman Best, get him one-on-one out wide. He might be coming up against Capewell, so it could be a little bit of a mismatch there when it comes to speed and strength. So that's where I'll be getting the ball straight to Bradman Best on that left edge and giving him every possible opportunity one-on-one.
And even though as many as 11 as of yesterday were struggling with a gastro bug, you think they'll get through that okay, the Knights players?
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. Obviously, they would have had the doctor. They probably would have got like a bit of a Maxilin shot or something like that, where it stops you from being sick and will make you feel half decent. But they'll get through the game. This is part and parcel of it. You know, when you're a professional athlete, you sort of know what you need to do. You would have hydrated all night, but they won't be feeling their best. But the energy levels, if they complete well the Warriors, they'll be able to zap the energy out of them very quickly.
All right, Gibbsy, Louis will be back for the action from 4 o'clock. Knights and Warriors. Referee will be Grant Atkins. Chris Butler in the bunker. Back to you, Spriggy.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, can't wait to get to you for that last game of round 20 in the Hunter. Here it's Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12. Second half kickoff only mere seconds away. Time for a quick text here. Upset season is back, says Angelo, Casino in New South Wales, and so are the Penrith Panthers apparently. It started off with the Warriors and the Bulldogs, the Eagles beating Melbourne, and now the Broncos at 5th and ladder. And even the State of Origin doubts around Queensland for a really good footy game. It's really good, but for us people to tip on the footy, it's literally the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever? Yes. Well, will there be an upset here then, Alex? That was the question. Gold Coast lead 14-12, and Charlie Staines has dropped that ball from the kickoff. That's not the ideal start for West Tigers.
Yeah, that's a tough start for the Tigers and a tough one there for Charlie Staines, as his teammates rally around him. Was pretty run-of-the-mill again, just a straight kickoff, and he's got to take 2 hands above the head, and He's just thinking about the pass, drops the ball, so the Titans immediately on the front foot to open the second half.
Let's go down to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, he's had a shocker, Charlie Staines, to start this second half, and it was probably much like his first half. Just a word on Tino. They're confident that he'll be back at some stage if he'll be needed, and given the context of the game, you think he would.
Okay, here's a Gold Coast scrum feed 10 metres out as Brian Kelly takes it there into that wall of right edge defenders there for the West Tigers. 4 and dummy half. Swings it back here to Fermor, and now Jamin Jolliffe. So I haven't seen Abbott Fafita for the Gold Coast Titans so far in this game. We'll see him in the second half at some stage, you would think. Although Des doesn't mind having unused interchange players. I'm sure he'd like to use Abbott Fafita though. Here's Cleese Haas. Claimed 4 metres out, right-hand side of the post. Dummy half Ferrell tries to fire himself. He's held up there by Seafar, Jerome Luai et al. And a played a metre out, barely, from that northern line. Gold Coast looking dangerous. First receiver Campbell Gillard. And he's tackled. Up against that right hand upright now. Played it back to Verrills. Right hand side. Dinky little kick from Campbell. It's been lost by Dewey. Another West Tigers error. So we'll see more ball here for the Gold Coast Titans. They've begun this second half shot with 2 of the worst errors you'll see the home side. It remains Titans 14-12.
Well, I'll give Adam Dewey a bit of a preview. It's a low ball along the ground, very hard to pick up at the best of times. He's coming across from the inside, but he had a fairly decent grab on it, just delivers it straight back to the Titans. There was a thought about a challenge, but it definitely was a knock-on, so the Titans roll on.
Titans scrum feet here, 10 metres out centre field. Verrills out to Brimson. Skips back on the inside there of Latu Whanu, claimed by Jack Bird. 2 metres out, left-hand side of the post as Kelly finds Fermor, and 3, 4, 5 West Tigers keep him over the touchline, 5 metres shy of the corner post.
Well, he's got the play to go to the short side there from Brian Kelly. He's seen his back row loop around and thought maybe he'd send him at some of the smaller defenders, but the Tigers rallied. They went in numbers and then good effort to drag him across the sideline.
Just to recap, MC, you mentioned the Tino injury, not believed to be the same, obviously, the ACL. Was it the same knee, the ACL?
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure that it's tricky. But, yeah, so they're confident that it's nothing severe. Whether or not he makes it back on the field, I don't know. He's been running up and down the sideline. He's back on the bike, so he's definitely not ruled out.
Okay, here we go. West Tigers on the attack with Charlie staying through centre field. 25 out northern end. Croysow off to the right-hand side. And now tackle ball and all is Fanua Bolle. Scored a try last time these sides met at Leichhardt last year. And that was the last time these sides met. West Tigers won at 18 points to 10. Round 15, 2024. Open side left. Sunia Taruva through centre field. 5 metres short of halfway. Last play West Tigers. Croysow finds Luai. High in the air, his kick down towards Jalen de Groot. He tracks back inside his own 10-metre line, and now he's collected by Seafarth and also Taylor May. Gold Coast back on the attack. 14-12 their lead. 4 minutes played, second half. You're on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Peter Hallertau, Michael Carianis. Gold Coast come to the left-hand side with Philip Sami. One of their first half try scorers, Philip Sami. Now with 7 tries in 6 games against West Tigers. Back with Campbell Gillard centre field. Backs his way there into Terrell May. And he'll play out 35 out from his own line. It will be though a penalty going Gold Coast way.
Just lying all over the ruck there. Alex Seafarth with his hands out. I think it would be a combination of a few players in that one. They're trying to win some momentum back, the Tigers, so they push the issue there. And Rick Campbell Gillard fights to get to his feet and then just team the penalty.
So fine touch on the eastern side. And a tap here, just short of halfway. As Jamin Jolliffe been busy in this game for the Gold Coast Titans. Ball to the ground, 40 out from the West Tigers line. Titans on the attack, 20 in from the eastern side. Gain of a dozen here from Cleese Haas. Younger brother of Payne. Now open side left again, Foran onto Brimson. Skips away here. An awkward ball which goes behind Philip Sami and out over the western touchline. Away from Michael to Karanos. Down to UMC.
Yeah, there's a couple of times now they've got their timing all wrong, the Gold Coast Titans, to start this second half. AJ Brimson wanted Brian Kelly to keep running that hole. Brian Kelly pulled up. It was a poor bit of communication from his left-hand edge.
By the way, it was the left knee for Tino. So same knee we had the issue with this afternoon. Not quite the same severity, which is at least something. Here's Jarrell Skelton. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Croatia dummy half now. Back to Terrell May. Leads the comp for offloads. Third in the comp for all runs as well is the prop forward. And now it's brought to that right-hand side. Fermor with a tackle there on Xiaomi Mi. Croatia, waste no time. Bolle at that left-hand side. Seafarth wants a break, and he's tackled there by Campbell and also Randall. 20 in from the eastern side. 40 out from that southern line. Benoit Bolle goes again. Just reaching through a two-man tackle. 30 outs in the field. Play to Croatia. Last play, West Tigers. Luai, flat ball in close to Seafarth. The Taylor May. Wide here to Skelton. Almost lost his footing. Steamrolls one defender to Groot, but he goes out over the eastern touchline in those last little throws of the try-scoring action. So it will be a Gold Coast ball. They lead 14-12. We've played now 7 minutes in their second half on ABC Sport.
It was a brilliant ball by Alex Seafarth around the corner on last play. He gets the ball from Lua. I thought Lua was going to pop a little chip over the top, try and keep things going downfield, but Seafarth does a good job. And then Skelton, he may have pulled up a little ginger from that collision that stopped the try that he was trying to score.
What I will say is missing from this game here today, fantastic atmosphere in the ground. Those dudes on the balconies over there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not interested in the Titans.
No, apparently not. Here goes Regan Campbell-Gillard. Angles his run there into Seafarth. Usually you always see a couple of Balmain jerseys up there on any of those terrace houses. Now it's back here to the left-hand side. Bo Fermor with a big run there. He just flattened Latu Whanu and a play 1 minute short of the halfway. Verrills on here to AJ Brimson. 5 minutes inside West Tigers territory. Quick set this for the Gold Coast Titans. Verrills to Campbell. Off a step. High right foot kick. Charlie Staines. Ooh, careful Charlie. Takes it this time. Gets away from 1-2. Still going Charlie Staines. Over to 30. Steps back on the inside of Verrills. Shakes away Brimson. No, Brimson gets in. But a good game there from Charlie Staines. After his earlier error from the kick-off in the second half. Now he gives the position here to West Tigers. Now they go left-hand side shift. Taylor May. He's on the 40-metre line in Gold Coast half. Open side right they come. Skelton through hands. Seafarth. Now Seafarth 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Still no change to our half-time score. Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12. As here is Xiaomi Mi, and he stands in the tackle of Campbell-Gillard. And he'll play it here. Oh yeah, it was only just playing 15 out from that to the line. So good post-contact game from Xiaomi Mi. Terrell May. And now Luai, back to Terrell May. Offloads back here to Bolle. He's 10 metres out and wrapped up by Jamin Jolliffe and also Regan Campbell-Gillard. 7 metres out in the field here. Last play, West Tigers. Croatia looks right, goes back to the left. Shapes the kick, no, goes himself, and he's tackled a metre shy under the black dot at the southern end of Leichhardt Oval. It remains Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12. 9 minutes gone, just over half an hour left in the game.
Yeah, lack of communication there on last play from the Tigers. I think Croatia was thinking that Finu was to his right, so he shaped up to throw the pass to him, but Finu at the last minute had moved over to the left, seen an opportunity. Croatia didn't have time to react, and in the end, a pretty lacklustre final play.
Here they come, the Gold Coast Titans. Really? Dump in the tackle there of Starfield Tower and Latu Whanu. Played to Forum. Open side right now with this run to Bo Fermor. 30 out, 20 in western side. Running kick from Jaden Campbell deep in his own end. Down towards the chest of Sunia Taruba. And he shows plenty of pace as he tries to cross that 50-metre line before he is met by Regan Campbell-Gillard. Absolutely here. No penalty forthcoming that time for West Tigers, despite the protestation celebrations of the home side. Fans, Staines, plays at 40 out. And Jarrell Skelton with a quick gain of 6 or 7 up to halfway. 20 in from that eastern side. A packed Wayne Pearce Hill here at Leichhardt Oval. Still waiting for our first score of the second half. Gold Coast lead by a couple of points. Bolle plays it now. Croyce out. 40 out from Gold Coast line. Fed back here for West Tigers. Starford Toa takes on the edge defence there of Brian Kelly. They'll play at 30 out. Last play for the home side. Latu Whanu off a step. His kick just wobbles downfield and Gregoric receives it and then receives a tackle of Jerome Luai for his troubles. Will play it 15 out from his own line, southern end.
Yeah, better set there from the Tigers. They just get through their kick and finish things off. Luai chasing through and comes up with a really good tackle, but the Titans are playing really controlled football at the moment. They're not losing their cool defensively. They're very strong at the moment, and now they've got the ball in hand.
Voice the former Tiger World Cup Queen Kiwi Dean Hullatow on ABC Sport. Gold Coast up that left-hand side they go. Dangerous here with Brian Kelly. Does it now to 40 out from that southern line. Potawake back in the action. He bounces off Xiaomi Mi and we'll play it now 9 short of halfway. Verrills on the last play finds Campbell. His kick, they have the breeze this time, the Gold Coast Titans. Taruba takes the high ball, crosses the 20, takes it himself, doesn't trust Charlie Staines there as an option behind him, and he'll play it 30 out from his own line. Then in from the western side, Latu Whanu, the first receiver, Staines. Foreigners all over him. He's dragged back Charlie Staines, the 25 out from his own line. Still it's Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12. Fast start to the second half, much like the first, which was error riddled for both sides. Skelton plays it there, Royce out, Terrell May. Now Luai finds Taylor May at that left-hand side. He shrunk with the tackle there of Jojo Fafita, and he's over halfway. So good work from Taylor May in this game so far. Luai to Terrell May, back to Taylor on the angled run, and he's claimed from behind there by Jalen McGroot. Now played 20 out, comes to Luai. He puts in the kick, last play. Oh, Brimson makes the error. It's picked up by Jarrell Skelton, who scores in the corner. Well, it was Gold Coast turn for the error, but have a listen.
Starting no try. Confirm there's a double knock on.
Okay, so was it a double knock on, or was it just the case that
The Tigers kick chasers onside. Ball is knocked on by AJ Brimson.
And just
checking the angles to make sure the ball doesn't come off Taylor May.
I don't fancy it does. At least that was my understanding from my naked eye view right across the ground. But we'll see on the replay. Full available angle. Oh yeah, there's deviation. There it is.
It's a fair call there by Sharp.
Sharp call, you might say. So,
just exhausting all available angles to see where the ball comes off Taylor May's left hand. The ball comes off Taylor May's left hand and goes forward. It's a double knock on. We have a decision.
Tigers scrum 10 metres out from that southern line as they look to find their first points, or the first points of this second half at Leichhardt Oval. 13 gone, second half. It is Gold Coast 14, West Tigers 12, down again settlement touchline.
Yeah, you mentioned the breeze brigade, still quite significant. This time behind the backs of the Gold Coast Titans. That's why we saw an early tackle kick a couple of plays ago, but it's definitely quite significant still in this second half.
In the NRLW, second half in Brisbane, Roosters 30, Broncos 22. Queensland Cup second half, Winner Manly 24, Western Clydesdale 6. First half Queensland Cup, PNG Hunters, Ipswich Jets just getting underway, no score. AFL third quarter, Geelong 94, St Kilda 91, and then the Super Netball semi-final, three-quarter time there, Melbourne Vixens 46, Adelaide Thunderbirds 42. Eva play the Swifts next as they come to the right-hand side of the scrum as Latu Whanu is playing by Regan Campbell-Gillard. It's 6 more here for the West Tigers. Can they regain the lead there? Bolle, big run up against the uprights, but he's not quite there. Play it 2 metres shy. Croyce out. Up to Terrell May. Received it in low and got 3 tacklers for his troubles as well. Tackle 3 here for West Tigers. Karoisau back now again to Sione Fainu, and Verrills gets the better of him. So too Campbell, and he'll play it now. Karoisau looks left-hand side, shifting it right across now. Latu Fainu, and it's been lost. A great tackle by Campbell on Fanua Bolle. The footy comes loose. Pounced on by the Gold Coast, or maybe it wasn't, but it was just going to be either way, same result. It'll be a Gold Coast Titans scrum feed, 10 metres out from their southern line, and they lead 14-12 here in Hallertau. 14 gone, 26 left in this second half.
Yeah, I think they were probably one play too late to go to their left. We spoke about the first half, how passive the right edge for the Titans have been, and Taylor May in the second half is already having plenty of joy when he gets fed the ball nice and early. Thought they would have gone there and play earlier, which would have given him a bit more time, but stops the pole, and he leads with that arm, which is where Jaden Campbell hit and forced the error.
So Gold Coast swing it right-hand side of the scrum here at Leichhardt Oval. Titans 14, West Tigers 12 here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Ben Hallertau, Michael Carianis on this sunny Sunday afternoon. Verrills off here again to Philip Sami, and no real gain of metres for him. 30 out from that southern line. Regan Campbell-Gillard takes on Bird, takes on Fanua Bolle, plays it 40 out. Verrills, it's lost by the Gold Coast Titans. Incorrect play the ball, says referee Belinda Sharp, and it will be a West Tigers ball. 40 out from that southern line, which they are attacking. Alas, it remains no change to our halftime score. Titans 14, West Tigers 12. Back to MC on the sideline.
Yeah, this has turned into a low second half. Mistake after mistake here. Both sides really ill-disciplined with the footy, but you get the sense that one of them is going to break shortly.
At least we had 5 tries in the first half. We've had none so far. No points at all in the second 40 as Latu Fainu